There we are. You might want to naughty children in the back seats. You could in the entirely up to you. It seems very comfortable. I don't know.
It's an early start for the volunteers of the University of Hertfordshire's Refugee Support Group. Comprised of both staff and students, the team is preparing for a hard day's labour helping migrant refugees in the French port of Calais.
What they almost all will want to do is to have a conversation with you, if that's at all possible.
The team encompasses a range of the university's professions, skills, and experience with volunteering.
You'll spend the morning doing fairly unglamorous stuff, but I think that's important to know as well, because there is a lot of unglamorous stuff.
The UHRSG is organised by John Berry, a senior lecturer in the university's humanities department. It's a tight, busy schedule, and priority number one for John is making sure the volunteers don't miss their shuttle from Folkestone to Calais.
There we go. Cool. You can be in charge of that.
Yeah.
Guys, you've played a blinder. We're on the 7:31. We made it. Thank you very much for being so prompt.
For the last 7 years, John's teams have been regularly undertaking the 130-mile journey on the Channel Tunnel.
Get up and stand up outside, so for those of you who have not done it before, there is nothing to see. There is no, but double nothing to see.
For many of the volunteers, this will be their first time experiencing the realities of the migrant crisis in person, which for many has become a highly politicised issue.
I think I've always had a lot of sort of interest and sympathy in the situations that refugees find themselves in, and really keen to see stuff firsthand, and rather than just having articles you've read or stories you've heard, to actually see some things firsthand.
Open-minded, just wanting to be of use really, and to go home and feel like I've been able to contribute in some way. I certainly don't want to be here as a tourist.
About 22 years ago, I was a refugee myself, so I know what it feels like. We can take it for granted because we have pretty much everything around us, but there are lots of people around the world who don't have the basics. I want to revisit that experience and again just try and help.
I'm excited because I'm always excited to bring new people over and to hear what their reactions are at the end of the day. I think it's always the shock of the new for when people come first time. For first timers, it's always the business of seeing on the ground what they've heard about and seen on the news, so that they can see that these are human beings with ambition and a good sense of humour and real resilience.
I'm expecting it to be a lot of hard work today. I don't want to come in and sort of like be a saviour or anything like that, just come in and do our bit and learn a lot and just have an experience around being around these guys and deepen my understanding as to what issues they're facing, as to what the actual reality is like.
I used to work with refugees back home, so I do have a little bit of experience, but different refugees have stories. If we can get out there and listen to their stories, that would be great. But if I don't, at least I get to know what the process is behind how we are helping the refugees.
So do you get confused when you go from UK to here in terms of driving? Is just
try not to. You've got to hope that I don't. You've got to hope that I don't.
But before the volunteers can distribute aid to refugees, they must spend the morning performing the all-important tasks of sorting, bagging and packing.
Welcome to Cafe Calais. Every morning we do a health and safety briefing, so we'll start with that. And now I'll tell you what to expect throughout the day, and we'll get you signed up to some jobs in the warehouse. And what we're going to be doing is our full services. So our services are charging, hot drinks, hairdressing, games, English lessons, loads of different stuff that we take with us. And we do this to just kind of hang out and spend a few hours with the guys, just having a nice time. We're also going to be doing a distribution of jumpers this afternoon. We'll explain a bit more about that at lunch, but that's what to expect from today.
Care for Calais have contributions pouring in from businesses and members of the public, bolstered by the hard work of their many volunteers from across the country. They provide a wide array of necessities and services, backed by those with a passion for helping the people that need it most.
So Care for Calais, we do a number of different things. We do our services, the charging, hairdressing, spend some time with the guys, but we also do non-food item distributions, so tents, clothing, and we also do food item distributions. So we do that 3 times a week, and we go to the guys in their tents, hand out tickets, and they come with us to the van, and then we hand out food packs. We do it slightly differently to other organisations because we offer non-cooked food items. So we do tinned things, chickpeas, beans, stuff like that. We believe that this offers a little bit of dignity in being able to choose what to eat and when to eat it outside of the times that they're offered hot meals by other organisations. Here we've got tea bags and rice, 2 more things that we split up so that they can go into the food packs. Tea's a big favourite, so yeah, have a lot of people come to our station when we do hot drinks as well. But this is for them to go away and have tea when they'd like. And rice is also a big favourite. So again, takes a lot of work to split this every week, but such an important role to provide some sustenance to the guys. How are you guys getting on? Good? Nice, amazing. These guys are just preparing spice packs. So we put 3 different types of spice, mix them together, and then they put them in smaller sandwich bags so that these can then go into the food packs. The guys love spice, so it's a really nice little extra thing that they can cook with.
I always say to people, you probably heard me say it already, it's unglamorous lugging bloody mats and stuff around. I'm so used to it now. Do you know what I mean? I'm conscious of the fact when I'm talking to people in the morning that I know what everything looks like and I know the kind of jobs that you'll be given, so you'd have to ask them.
It's grassroots and it's solidarity, isn't it? That's what it's all about. Yeah, nice. Enjoying it.
Quality checking is so important because we believe that if we give the guys something that isn't quality checked, we're saying to them, this is all we think you're worth. So it's so important that we do it and we make sure that everything is really good quality, doesn't have any stains, tears, rips, anything like that.
I never considered that this would be part of it at all. Wouldn't have. I'm sure if I'd had good sort of 20 minutes to think about it, I wouldn't have come up with hairdressing as being a thing that we'll be doing today.
With each person receiving their jobs for afternoon distribution, the team from UHRSG make the journey to volunteer with migrants on the ground. This site in particular is the largest that Care for Calais provide for, giving them an opportunity to help directly those who have made the grueling journey across the globe.
So this one, is this the sort of official one they made when they closed?
No, there are no official camps anymore. So when we get there, people who are on the ground here know where people are camping at present. And that moves around quite significantly, not least of course because police very often move them on, sometimes in the most violent of ways as well, actually. So that's distribution queue. So you can see we're in 2 fields, here and here.
Nice. That's nice. That's perfect. Okay, let's get it, Dirk. That's the last one. Like, tea, coffee?
Caricature that you might have in your head about the poor migrant who's in need of salvation. Well, that's not what you look around and see here at all. You see a bunch of capable young men, most of whom will have gone through some horrific things, but you're not seeing that written on their faces right now. I'm seeing a bunch of resilient young men who are just looking to improve their situation, having gone through something which doesn't bear thinking about.
And the thing that really strikes me here, just being here, is these are all someone's son, and it really resonates with me. You know, a lot of them are about my son's age, and just to, you know, the concern, the human concern for what's next for them, in the, you know, what their steps that they're going to take next is so worrying.
Si l'on arrive volontaire, cet numéro-là, alors mais dans la tête, pas dans la porte parce que c'est possible qu'on prend le téléphone. Alors il faut le prendre dans la tête.
We strongly believe that services offers way more than just hairdressing or charging. It offers mental health relief because they don't get that from a lot of other people. It's very dehumanising to queue up and wait for a second-hand item in a distribution line. But to hang out with the guys and just show friendship is so, so important.
I've had conversations just in the last half hour with volunteers from other organisations, and our central aim is the same, is to bring people here today, but above all, let us remember we're dealing with human beings. This is not flotsam and jetsam, these are boys, you know, and as a father and a grandfather I look at boys who need a chance. So the humanising of them is central to what we're doing today.
They just want to forget about their past. You can sense the hope in their voices and all that. And that is something that is important. So what we're doing here is to give them that hope, you know, to encourage that hope to continue on. So yeah, it's very, very encouraging.
Okay, thank you.
I am 21 years old. Hi. I'll ask you again. What's your name? Jamal. Do you know how to write Jamal? Yeah? Okay, can you give us a pen? Can you write me? My name is...
Every day we make 100 little decisions, and the little decisions that I'll be able to make now is going to be based on real life experience as opposed to as opposed to making assumptions.
I think people initially come quite scared and quite timid about the situation, with lots of nervousness through things they've read on the media beforehand. But actually when people come, it only takes a matter of minutes to realise that these are just normal people that have caught themselves in a really difficult situation. And actually this time that they share together through listening to stories and building relationships and friendships is actually really beautiful. But I'm also aware that this job isn't fixing the problem, it's just making these guys' lives a little bit easier and a little bit better.
You can almost imagine it might just about be tolerable living in a tent out in the open on an afternoon like this. Picture it grey, picture it raining, and then look around, these guys mainly in flip-flops, very basic clothing, and whilst it's great here, and there's loads of energy here this afternoon, as there always is, just imagine it on a worse day, and that gives you an insight, I think, into the plight of these guys here.
It was amazing, just the idea of seeing all of the activities organised by the charity here is incredible, and just the fact that we've seen how much of a difference that makes into the ground here is incredible. We're definitely going to talk about it, and we will do our best to try and encourage other people to come here and for longer, because that's what they need help, not just for a day, but for many days.
I was imagining the big refugee camps that you'd seen on TV much more. I wasn't picturing anything like we've seen today. It seems much more sort of local community, and the community between the Care for Calais people who are here longer term and sort of so many of the people actually staying here. It definitely gives you more confidence to be able to talk about the situations that refugees face when you've seen some of it firsthand.
Volunteers are so important to the work we do for two reasons mainly. One is that we actually need people here on the ground to do the work, to get out, but the second reason is to advocate for what is happening here. Obviously what the government is saying we don't believe to be what the British public actually think of refugees. So if we can get people to go and talk to their friends and family about what is actually happening, giving them a realistic perspective, then that's the only way anything's ever going to change.
As long as you can create enough of a momentum from the grassroots, one day, anybody who's a politician can see these things that we're doing and start to think about, hey, you're not alone in the world. There are many others who are not as fortunate. So do something, right? Whatever it is, do something. Whether change the laws, change the policies, whatever it is, But I believe that human beings, we have just one world, we have just one home. So let's try and be nice and be kinder to one another.
As someone who's been a lifelong educator, is that people will become educated, people will become more knowledgeable. Experience tells me that people come back even more determined to spread the word about what the real situation is